How's it going, guys? Ready to go politics here. And today we have another election prediction. And this is for the end of July. And so we're going to start filling in the safe states for the red and blue. Before we do that, please check out My Patriot Food Supply. Here we have a nice Google image of it. And you can see coronavirus is going to kill us all. And so that's why we need to get all this very yummy food. It's very yummy food. Please buy it at My Patriot Supply. And yeah, now let's get started over here. And so we're going to start the safe states. First off, we have California. Basically, California, even the white voters, they go Democrat. So that's just a disgrace. And there's really nothing you can do about that. It's just the way it is, and it's very unfortunate. And so now we got Hawaii over here. And same thing, Democrat. Illinois. A lot of corruption. Just, you got J.B. Pritzker. He's really fat. And who knows how much money he's been spending at the food. But he's just a really corrupt governor. It's just a lot of corruption. Democrat. And same thing with these states over here. I like to call them these the cuck states. And yeah, they're just not the best states, but, very Democrat. And of course, New York got a lot of Jews. Jews don't really like the Republicans. And that's basically what we're looking at. Also, this one over here. So now let's do the safe red states. And so Alaska is safe. I don't know why it's safe, but it is. And so now we got the Bible state. And sorry about that, a little technical difficulty over here. And yeah, you got the Dakotas, all Nebraska, besides 2nd District, and all this. We got all the South. The South is very big for Trump. Also, South Carolina. And also, Ohio. Ohio is Trump country. Ohio is safe. Okay? Ohio is safe. It is safe for Donald J. Trump. And so now Iowa, I'm going to say likely. Just a lot of white people, and that's very good for Trump. Same thing with Texas. I'd say likely. Yeah. This one will be Lane, just because Trump's not too good in this area. And let's see, New Hampshire, that's going to be likely. A lot of white people, and Trump is talking a lot about drugs, and so that's a big issue. Drugs is big for New Hampshire, and so that's very good. And so now let's take a look over here. We got Arizona. I think this one is going to tilt for Trump because you got a lot of older voters, and they're going to see Joe Biden, and we're going to see Joe Biden with all the gas, and they're going to think Joe Biden is making fun of the old voters. And so that's why they're going to go for Trump, because Trump is more respectful and more of a gentleman. That's just my take on that one situation. And so, yeah. And so now let's see, Colorado. Now, Colorado, it's a little different. The young voters, they don't like the old voters, the old people. But they're still going to go for Joe Biden because they're brainwashed, basically. Education. That's why Colorado and Virginia, we can't get them anymore. It's because of education, too many colleges. We need to abolish the college, basically. If we can make some more uneducated voters, yeah, that's how we win the state. But for now, that's just a pipe dream for Republicans. And so, yeah. Now let's do the Rust Belt. Minnesota, they like weirdos. And neither one is really a weirdo, but Ilhan Omar won Minnesota. And she's basically a terrorist, so Joe Biden will easily win. And it's unfortunate. Now, Wisconsin, I think that will be safe. Because you got a lot of people in the WOW counties over here. And it's like 83% white, so there's no way Trump loses that, basically. And so, same thing with Michigan. I think that's likely, actually. Because Detroit is basically, it's a dead city. So, and that's where all the Democrats are. So that's good for Republicans. And Minnesota, I think, not Minnesota, Pennsylvania, that's going to be lean because it's Joe Biden. So he's going to have some help. But everyone in Western Pennsylvania is going to go for Trump because they like their coal. And that's how I see it. Now, let's go over here to New Mexico. That's going to be, I'm going to say likely, mostly because of demographics. There's just too many Mexicans, can't do much about it. But on the other hand, with Nevada, I say that's likely. Now let's go over here in the southeast. The Bible people will go for Trump because Trump held a Bible for the Washington protest. And that's really good. Georgia, there's a lot of black people, but I think Trump will survive. Now, 2024, it will be more competitive because there are more black people in 2024. But this is just this is the way I see it. I think we'll make it lean. It'll be about a 3-point win for Trump. Now, Florida. Now, in the polling, Trump is doing really bad in Florida. He's down by 7. But I don't really care, to be honest. So I feel like he can win by 3 because DeSantis is doing really good with the coronavirus, setting new records. And so that's how I see it. And so let's go over here. And so we can see Delaware. That's Joe Biden's home state. So that'll be lean because they're going to be nationally embarrassed by Joe Biden being on the front stage. And that's going to be the same thing with Connecticut because Connecticut is a bad state and it sucks. So now we got Rhode Island. Rhode Island, I'm going to say flips to Trump. And why does Rhode Island flip to Trump? Why? Because it's of trends. Let me show you. Look at the trends, okay? You see? You see. That is what I'm talking about. Rhode Island, it's all about the trends. I don't want to hear anyone tell me Rhode Island is a blue state because it's not. It's because of the trends. And on election day, you can come back here and you can tell me that I was right. And so, yeah. Now, this one is going to go for Trump because not a lot of people live there, so that's good for him. But this one is going to be slightly blue for Maine because it's just very hard to flip. Now, we also got D.C., and D.C. is very establishment, so he cannot win that one. But Mitch McConnell, maybe if Mitch McConnell supports him a little more, he can get some support up there. But at the moment, I don't see it. Now, Washington, that's going to be likely. But more so, I think Oregon will be lean. Well, actually, that one's a toss-up. So I think Trump should be able to win this one, actually. Because basically, Oregon likes a lot of progressive candidates. And Joe Biden is not a progressive candidate. And so what you're going to see is a lot of disaffected voters in the Portland area. And so there's going to be a lot of protests and the riots. You're going to see Antifa in the streets causing chaos. And that's going to get all the Karens upset. And they're going to vote for Trump. And so this is my reasonable election prediction. 327 to 211. But I don't think this is Trump's ceiling. I think he can do a lot better than this if he just changes his policy, changes his rhetoric, and if he gets smart and if he goes into these areas and tell them he's a Democrat. If he just does that, I think he can do a lot better. And so we're going to talk about how Donald Trump can fix the map for a real red landslide. And then we're going to go into that. So, for Washington, how does Donald Trump flip Washington? Let me tell you. It's trends, but it's also voter suppression. So, if you go in Kent County, if you can get some more autonomous zones, especially in dense areas, so that all the votes don't matter, that'll be really good. He can also bust in people from Canada, bring some people up from Idaho, try to get them across the border, and then he can get them to vote, and also bring up the people in the exurbs area. That's how he does it. He does it narrowly. If that happens, Ohio is lean. I don't even want to argue with anyone on this. It's unquestionable. Oregon is a toss-up. And so, thank you. So now, California. California will not go red no matter what. It will be above 10 points. It's just gone. Illegal immigration is through the roof. It's basically communism over there. And so we can't do anything about it. Basically, we should just build a wall. That's what I'm saying. Build a wall. Now, if we do build a wall, Texas would be safe. And Arizona would be likely. So let's just assume Trump can get that policy done. I believe he can make those positive changes in this area. Now, let's talk about Colorado. Colorado, it's a tough one to flip. But he can do it because they don't have a progressive candidate. And Colorado is very progressive. So the way Donald Trump does this is he says he likes weed. And I'll bring up the support in the rural areas. And then he tells them that Joe Biden is a very old person. Because the young people don't like old people. So that's going to help them in Colorado. Now, New Mexico, it's a tough one. New Mexico, very tough. I don't know if we can flip it. But if we were to flip it, this is the game plan for Trump. So we know there's a strong Mexican base in New Mexico. So how does Trump do it? He has to make inroads in the Hispanic community. So what does he do? He talks about tacos. Talks about sombreros, makes some good appeal to the base, and maybe he does a Make America Great Again sombrero. I think that can do some really good thing. You can get that out in the Santa Fe area. If you can do Operation Legend and start get some stormtroopers over there. That'll get the Star Wars fan base hyped up. And also, if he can do the I forgot the name, but the place where the aliens are. If he can do UFO stuff in New Mexico, that will hype up the base really big, appeal to his base. Now let's go to Minnesota. Minnesota, Trump can win by a likely margin. The way he wins is if he can endorse MyPillow. He can work with MyPillow. They can run up ads all over the area. Flip Duluth, flip Rochester. I think it's in for Trump. Definitely in for Trump. And if he does that, I think Michigan will also be safe. And so that's what we do here. Now let's talk about Virginia. Virginia just has too many educated people. That's the main issue. So we can make it close, but we can't flip it. Now, how do we make it close? It's the educated people. I told you that. So we need to uneducate some people so that we can get more people to go to Trump's base. That's what we got to do. And so if we abolish colleges, not the electoral college, but the college, and we ban school, that's how we can do it. So maybe with coronavirus, Trump can cancel colleges. I think that'll be a good play for him. And maybe it's a little bit bad, but it's good politics. Now, Delaware, he just bring up the video where Joe Biden was eating Dunkin' Donuts, okay? If he does that, it's over. He loses. There's so many Indians. They're like in the bushes in Delaware. And they're going to massacre Joe Biden on Election Day. Now, New Jersey, I think he can win it safe, honestly. If he just closes a few bridges up over here where the Democrats are, and he can bring out Chris Christie, Big Chris, and he's going to carry him over to the finish line. Connecticut, I think that can be likely. Same with Rhode Island. Just talk about Ned Lamont. Ned Lamont is a very unpopular governor. Just harp on that tune, and you're going to win it, okay? Now, Maine's first, you just say you're a Democrat. That's all you can do. And that will hand you Maine in the lean column. Now, these three states here, they all have Republican governors. So endorse those people, get them to endorse you, give them some hugs. You know, that's how you do it. And that's very good. Now, in New York, there's a lot of Jews in New York. And so if he can tie Joe Biden to Ilhan Omar, and he can say that they hate Jewish people, that will give him the edge in Manhattan. That will help him with the rich people. And so if he does that, while simultaneously making inroads with the Jewish community, talking about those important issues, like how you have to wear your hat all the time, and you should have free hats for everybody. And also, if he says Happy Hanukkah, I think if he does all those things, he checks all the boxes, he can get New York, he can put that in his column. So now we're at 443, and we're running out of space. And, you know, before the libtards come over here and start trolling me, this is all backed up by data. Once again, Rhode Island, I showed you the trends. You know it's true. It's the truth. Now, Hawaii, I think he can win Hawaii. Honestly, like Trump, he's a billionaire dude. And I don't know, a lot of rich people live in Hawaii. It's a very expensive state. So if he just talks about being rich, I think, if he talks about beaches, and if I think the tipping point will be if he endorses palm trees, if he makes that the national tree, that will give him Hawaii in his column also. Now we're really running out of states here. And so I think D.C., this one, I'll admit, it is a long run. But if he can get Kanye on the ballot, Kanye gets 40%. And then Joe Biden, he gets 20%. He takes from Joe Biden. Then Trump can get the other percent. I forgot what it was. And then he can win. I think it's possible. And so, yes. And so the last one is Illinois. And Illinois won't go Democrat because there's just a lot of corruption. But if he talks about Chicago, he just says, Chicago sucks. That will help him a little bit. That could make it likely. Now, if he wants to make it lean, bring in Kanye West. Kanye West will bring in the victory. And honestly, I think he could win Illinois. I'm not even joking. If Kanye West gets in there, he starts throwing concerts in every blue area of the country, and he starts appealing to all those disaffected voters, I think Kanye West can hand him the victory if he starts talking about Medicare for all. And that'll give Trump the victory, 470 to 68. That's not too unreasonable. I think it's a pretty reasonable prediction, actually. And so, yeah, we're going to see on Election Day. We're going to see who's crying, libtards. Come back on Election Day. Tell me how we did. 470 to 68. Bring it on. Ready to go politics. Signing off.